The state of Utah was flirting with the idea of doing a war on porn recently. We covered the story on the show, and now we get the news that they're actually going to do it. So it's no longer a thought. Now they're like, totally, war on porn, let's do it. So Raw Story explains here, Utah on Tuesday declared pornography a public health hazard. The resolution declares pornography an epidemic that normalizes violence against women. No, it doesn't. And children. No, it doesn't. And makes men less likely to want to get married. Okay, maybe that one's true. But who cares? It was signed by Republican Governor Gary Herbert after being passed by the Republican-led legislature in the conservative and heavily Mormon state with the support of the Utah Coalition Against Pornography. What a ridiculous coalition. Could you imagine being in that coalition? God, they must beat off so much. Like, the only way you join that coalition is if, like, you're addicted to porn. You're like, yeah, it's so bad, it's horrible. Let's talk about how bad and horrible it is 2 nights a week. Because the other 5 nights of the week, I'm locked up in a dark room beating off. What? Did I say that out loud? And they say, the resolution calls on the state legislature to research the impact of pornography and invest in education and efforts to prevent its production and use. It declares pornography a public health hazard leading to a broad spectrum of individual and public health impacts and societal harms. Okay, everybody needs to understand that all the so-called social ills that they talk about with pornography, completely and utterly made up. It's utterly made up. It's about as made up as saying we have a hazard in the state or in the country of people peeing. There's this thing, they do it multiple times a day. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but it's gross. We don't like it. This leads to societal ills. It's horrible. Everybody's addicted to it. Seemingly, it's terrible. Now, that makes no sense, right? Why? Well, that's just a normal bodily function that everybody does, and there's really no downside to it. You're not hurting anybody. There's nothing wrong here. Yeah, all that applies also to porn. It all applies to masturbation. It's, okay, peeing, normal human activity, right? So is... I'm trying to say this in ways that are not super gross, but shooting loads, getting off, that's the same. It's like your body produces that, and then what the fuck do you expect? What do you want to do? I'm going to keep it in. Yeah, because that's going to work out well. That's a recipe to create more extremists and pent-up angry people and violent people. I'm going to keep it in, and I feel totally normal. Fucking cum is dripping from my eyeballs, but I don't need the sexual release. What are you talking about? God, porn sucks. No, they're all lying to themselves, and that's a huge difference between the far right and normal people. Is that normal people go, yeah, sex. It's part of life. It's pretty pleasurable. Whatever. Can we move on here? Whereas the far right's like, no, it's bad because I have these weird repressed pent-up things that I'm thinking, and I was shamed when I was younger, and I was doing normal things, and now I'm super religious, and I hate sex, and it's not fun, and nobody else should like it. I'm going to join the Coalition Against Pornography. Let me go beat off. They're all so stupid. It's all so stupid. No, there are no downsides. No, there are no social ills from it. I would argue the fucking opposite. The more porn that's available, the more people are able to be normal in their sex lives and their personal habits, the more likely you are to have a relaxed society and a normal society, and not one that's, fucking angry 24/7. But they haven't even come to terms with this. I mean, we have apparently a state of far-right children. And then also, I haven't even said the most dirty part of this bill yet. They try to mesh it together, and they mix it in the same article in Raw Story. They're talking about, they signed this one thing that's anti-pornography and says people shouldn't beat off, and it's horrible, and it's wrong. And then also they link it to, and there's this anti-child pornography bill. Wait, what did you just do there? No, child pornography, yeah, we all agree that's wrong. That's horrible. But that's not the same thing as regular pornography. Stop linking it. It's like, oh, what? Oh, you're going to defend pornography? Well, I guess you're in favor of child porn. No, I'm not. You made that up. We're not in favor of child porn, but regular porn we're in favor of. Consensual adults doing what they want, not hurting anybody. It's amazing how they just lump in things and say, this is immoral. But you didn't even provide an argument as to why you think it's immoral. You're just saying it's immoral. It's like when people say it about gambling. It's immoral. Why is it immoral? Some people go too far. Okay, that's their problem. What about people who gamble and there's no problem with it? It's immoral. It's like drug taking. Don't do it. It's so immoral. But okay, but wait, you had coffee this morning. That doesn't count. Why doesn't that count? I don't know. Exactly. It's a fucking drug. You drink it, or Monster Energy drink. It's a drug. The Xanax you get for anxiety from your doctor, that's a fucking drug. The list goes on and on. On the far right, they just like to lump things in and call them immoral when they're not immoral. Masturbation is not immoral. Sex is not immoral. Drugs are not, by definition, immoral. These things are not immoral. But then they'll judge the fuck out of that. But then, oh, wait a second. How dare you call the Iraq war immoral, where we killed minimum 200,000 civilians and spent trillions of dollars and destroyed a fucking country? That is not immoral. Touching your pee-pee, super immoral.